Hey, what's going on? How's everybody? Man, glad to be here on this nice Wednesday. Wasn't too cold. I'm feeling halfway good, feeling halfway fine. My doggone health is pretty good. I ate good today. Man, life's good. Just can't beat it. You just can't beat it. So, how are you? How are you? Are you happy and gay? Well, anyway. So, what's going on in the world today? A lot of stuff going on in the world today. Lots and lots of stuff. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. Hey, what's going on, man? How's it going? Let me see. I got to get some catching up here. I got some my stuff kind of backed up here. Let me see if I can catch this junk up. Let me see if I can pick this up a little bit and see if this will pick up a little better than what it's doing. Anyway, yeah, that'll do it. Comfortably numb. Comfortably numb. That's funny, man. Well, I guess we all waiting on. I guess we all waiting to see what's going on with them files. Everybody's waiting to see what shenanigans my man is gonna be pulling. Everybody's waiting to see what shenanigans he's gonna pull. Got a little clip right here. Let's see. You know, they voted. The Senate voted, to pass the bill to release the files. Sounds good in and out. Huh. Okie doke. I assume that's this thing. I don't know. I just caught a couple of buffering circles a second ago. And I don't know what y'all can see. I told you what. I told you. I sit here and be tripping off the stuff I see. The stuff I see will scare the hell out of anybody. I get all kind of warnings and shit, just so you know. And it scares the hell out of me. Just throws me completely off. But, we get through it. Sounds going in and out. The sound is going in and out. That's not good. I wonder what that is. That's not good at all. Let me see. I do not see. That's the problem. This thing will show you warnings, and then there's times when it won't show you anything, and there may be something going on that you just can't see. So if the sound is going in and out, try and bear with me, because I'm looking to see if there's anything out of kilter, but it's not from where I could see it. I have meters that are jumping that tells me the sound is going through the system. I do not know why it would be going out on your end. Hopefully that will stop. I do know it's still going in and out. And the sound is going in and out. Wonder why that is. The sound is going in and out. I wonder why that is. I do not have anything out of place. All I can say is bear with me. James, sounds still going in and out. Sounds good to you, huh? Okay, it's back. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, 'cause I'm looking and everything. All of the meters are jumping. That's saying the sound is going out. So nothing I can do about it. If it's not something I can see right here, there's nothing I can do about it. I gotta just bear with it. Anyway, hey, let's play a clip of what Jasmine Crockett thinks about whether or not Trump is going to release the files. Let's check that out.
Make of his change of direction when it comes to wanting to release the Epstein files?
Oh, I don't think that there's a change of direction. I mean, I think that they finally came up with whatever their scheme is going to be to make sure that he is quote unquote protected from, all of his dirtiest secrets being revealed. But the reality is that we know that he's a nasty individual. We know that he's a creep. I mean, we knew this. They knew this when they voted for him the very first time and the second time, and for those that voted for him the third time, because we had the tape, the Hollywood Access tape, where he was talking about grabbing women by the pee. We had the lawsuits that have been filed against him, where he and Jeffrey Epstein were named together as being rapists. So, this is a matter of people just not wanting to see what's in front of them. It's amazing how people can come up with, all kinds of stories on people they don't like and then ignore the truth about people that they do like. And I don't understand why they like him so much, because he clearly don't like them. Because when 42 million people, and I know some of them had to be MAGA, when they needed to line up to get their EBT and it wasn't nothing there, he didn't care. So, I think that people need to get back to prioritizing themselves and their families and their future instead of being dragged to hell by this dude who obviously has them in a cult.
Well, talk about spitting some truth out there. Talk about spitting some truth. Now, I'm with her. I think they done came up with whatever they're going to come up with to shield his fat butt. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think they done already came up with the scheme. Anytime this fool turn around and backtrack on everything he said the day before they vote. The day before they vote. And I think a bunch of those senators and representatives was going to vote for it anyway. And I think he backtracked just to tell all of them, go ahead and vote for it. So we never get a good read of who is going to really vote for it in the first place. See, I think somebody came to him and said, hey, it's a bunch of people going to vote for it. And he came up with the scheme, well, I'm just going to tell everybody to vote for it. And that way, we'll never know which ones was actually going to vote for it and which ones wasn't. See, this dude loves smoking mirrors. He loves smoking mirrors. And he's good at smoking mirrors. So, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what they came up with. Because, he going to screw the people. All right? Let's understand this. He's going to screw the people. You know that. You know he's going to screw the people. That's what he does. He screws the people. He screws the pooch. All right? That's what he does. So, I just can't wait to see the plan. Now the bill is on his desk right now. Okay, now I haven't seen anything that says he's signed the bill yet. Once they release the tapes, never know exactly if they're gonna release all of them. Well, yeah, I guess you're right. We don't know. We don't know whether they're releasing them all or not. What I'm thinking is, yeah, James, that's what I'm thinking. Nothing to see here. I'm thinking it's gonna be so redacted that you can't read anything. You know, when they release stuff, they'll black it out. Yeah, you done seen them other things in the past that they have released that was completely blacked out where you couldn't read nothing. You know, I'm thinking that's probably what they're gonna do, because they're not gonna let them powerful people names be out there. Them people done paid to have their names blacked out. Okay, them people done paid good money to have their names blacked out. So I'm expecting to not see nothing. Just the way you say, James. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. You know. So, anywho, I can't wait though. I can't wait. Because he's got the bill on his desk. They done sent it over to him, and all he's got to do is sign it. But and I gotta say something else about this. This guy and his backflipping on this whole thing. I accidentally this morning, because I haven't been watching CBS like I usually do, and I told a friend of mine about this today. I accidentally, when I was up this morning, as soon as I turned the TV on, it was on Channel 2, and CBS This Morning was on. And immediately, right when I turned it on, Gayle King was speaking with one of the victims. I think that was one of the victims, if I can recall right. Gayle King was speaking with this lady and said, this, I don't know about y'all, but this drove me insane when she asked this question. Gayle King asked this lady, well, do you think Donald Trump deserves credit for changing his mind and telling the Republicans to vote for passing the bill? That blew my mind. That just blew my mind that Gayle King asked that question. You see, I got this thing about listening very careful to questions that are asked during these interviews. Y'all remember during the campaign, on The View, Sonny Hostin asked Kamala Harris, what would you do different from Joe Biden? Now see, that's a gotcha question. That was a no-win question. No matter what answer she gave, she lost. And see, that's upset me from that point on with Sonny Hostin, because that's a question that shouldn't have ever been asked. Okay? This is also a question that was asked today. Do Trump deserve credit for changing his mind and telling the Republicans to vote for this? Why would he deserve any credit? He fought this tooth and nail up until the very day before they're going to vote. So if you know that they're going to vote for this, where does he get any credit for changing his mind the day before the vote? What credit is he due? Somebody tell me. Somebody explain that to me. What credit is he due? And why is that question even necessary? Why is that question necessary? Guess what? Channel 2, CBS. I ain't going to say Channel 2. Let's say CBS. CBS is compromised. Gayle King asked that question to keep her job. Okay, that's it. That's the only reason to ask that question, to keep your job. There's no way he deserves any credit for anything. Now, part 2 of this is credit. Does the guy that changes his mind the day before the vote deserve credit when that very same guy can pick up the telephone and tweet, release the files? He can just say, release the files. You want to give him some credit, have him do that. But he won't release the files. Hey. Wow. The shirt got wrinkled. Dang. You know, that's a problem when you take a nap before you you come do this. Anyway, I just happened to get a good look. I thought I had looked at myself. Didn't get a good look. Anyway, all this guy has to do is release the files. That's all he has to do. So no, he doesn't deserve any credit for anything. Okay. I don't even want to hear anything about him deserving credit for something. Now, I can't wait. Now, you know, he's got some smoke and mirrors coming. You know it. It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny, whatever they come up with, you know. He's not going to release them. Not in any way that's going to do anybody any good. He's not going to do it. So, this ought to be good. We'll see. This should be good. We'll stay tuned for this. Because, like James say, it's going to be nothing to see here, folks. It's going to be nothing to see here. That's what I'm betting on. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, you're right, you know, yeah. That was, you know, that was a dumb question to me. That was a dumb question. I don't, like I said, the only reason I see her for asking that question is, you know, the programming people told her to ask the question. You know, the people told her, ask this question, because there's no way Gayle King would have came up with, does he deserve credit? Do you think he deserves credit for changing his mind? Do I think he deserves credit for changing his mind? I was insulted by the question myself, and she wasn't even talking to me. If I, you know, and the poor lady, you know, what's she going to say? Well, of course she's got to, you know, hem and haw about the question and go along with it, of course, you know, so. You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Moving right along. I'm going to get off of Epstein because we're going to see this by tomorrow. And you know what? Nah, he usually signs the bills that's on his desk right away. He signs them like right now. Okay? He signs them right now. But this one, we haven't heard anything about him signing. Or maybe I'm wrong. Has anybody heard whether he signed this bill into law yet? Anybody heard that? Because once he signs it, it is the law. It has to go down. Although we've seen him skirt the law before. So let me know if you've seen whether or not he signed this bill or not. So anyway, okay, I'm going to move right along here. Something else funny went down recently that caught my attention and I thought was crazy. I thought it was crazy. You just got to see it yourself. I ain't even going to set it up. Check this out.
A new home is now a pile of rubble after police say someone used an excavator to destroy it earlier this morning. Graham 2's Christian Garza has been at the scene all day and shares what neighbors are saying tonight.
Well, dozens of neighbors came out to look at the scene here at Alsea and Platt Avenue. Now, come take a look at your screen. This is exactly what they're seeing. Really, the only thing left of this house here on the corner is one wall towards the back. The rest is completely torn to shreds. Really, there's only wood and glass and some insulation after this incident this morning. Now, despite some neighbors not wanting to speak on camera, every single neighbor I talked with today says the only word to describe what happened here is disbelief. The Post Falls Police Department says it got a call earlier this morning around 5 or 6 of somebody destroying a newly constructed house with an excavator. Officers say when they got to the scene, they saw someone driving away. After a traffic stop, the driver, a 29-year-old man, was arrested for DUI, burglary, and malicious injury to property. I had the chance to speak with one neighbor, Gail Isley, who lives right across the street from where it all happened.
Wayne came and my husband came and woke me up and he said, they're tearing the house down across the street. And I'm going, what are you talking about? I was kind of awake, I just hadn't got up yet. Well, I couldn't believe it. When I walked out the door, I'm going, really? I mean, this just doesn't happen.
One by one, neighbors came to the scene to see the damage, like Deb Corzin, who heard about the demolition through the grapevine.
My son lives in the neighborhood also, and my son was telling me that a house was demolished on the street. And it's like I didn't see anything, and so I figured I'd just keep walking. And I was thinking, my son must have told me the wrong street. And I got to here, and I seen this house, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, what the heck happened here? Because I thought I'd just seen the house was just sold.
To clarify, Greenstone Homes, one of the companies who manages this property, says the house was not sold, but they were in talks with an interested buyer. Investigators confirmed the person allegedly responsible for the demolition was a construction worker and was also unhoused. Greenstone confirmed with me the man who was arrested does not work for them or their partner companies. Greenstone declined to speak on camera, but sent me a statement saying in part, "We are incredibly disappointed that the event happened, and we are working as quickly as possible to clean up the demolition and make it as safe as it can be for the community." Greenstone says that it could take up to a year before another property is available. In Post Falls, Christian Garza, Creme 2 News.
Wow. Nah. I just heard the man say that the guy responsible was a construction worker and unhoused. I'm assuming that means a homeless construction worker. He had to be a construction worker because he knew how to run an excavator. Running an excavator is not a general task that most people know. So, that's not a skill most people have. So for this guy, 29-year-old drunk early in the morning, somebody didn't pay up. That's what it looks like. The dude was mad about something. Now, 29 years old, drunk, early in the morning. And I'm assuming he must have been driving this excavator through town. and you want to know what's really funny? When I thought about this, the first thing I thought was only an experienced guy You know, when you find these, go to these construction sites and what have you, you see these construction implements like excavators, bulldozers, backhoes, stuff like that. When you see a site with those things sitting around, they don't have the keys in them. There's keys to them, and they don't have the keys in them. So the first thing I thought was this was somebody with a key. And yeah, he was definitely on a mission. But this had to be somebody with experience because he had a key to an excavator. Okay, only people, and you know, I'll risk saying this because most people don't know this, and I really don't care if it gets out now because, hey, I've got keys to stuff just from places I used to work that will work on excavators and stuff like that, man lifts, all kind of stuff, you know. So, when you've worked in the industry, you get these keys, and they're pretty much good for equipment all over the place, you know. So, now, I'm not apt to get drunk early in the morning and go tear a house down that don't belong to me. But hey, one never knows. This young man decided to do that. I would love to ask him a few questions. I would love to interview this guy because I want to know what made him get drunk early in the morning. Okay, he got drunk and got up early and went and tore a house down that don't belong to him. Man, that's crazy. So, hey, it's crazy stuff going on. You know what? Maybe if he was unhoused, he might have been out of work. This guy might have been on SNAP and didn't get his SNAP card. I just thought about it. Maybe he didn't get his EBT card. Maybe that's what it is. You know, one never knows. All right, so anyway, moving along. Y'all know I got a thing about these southern states too, and places like Mississippi, Texas, you know, all them red states. You know, Tennessee been clowning lately. You know, these states. Well, Texas. I don't know why all these black folks running to Texas. They've been running to Texas for years. But here's another situation in Texas. Black Air Force person treated terrible by the police. Treated terrible by the police. Got to show you this story. Check it out.
She's been deployed 8 times, but an airman says that she never experienced extreme fear until police stopped her last year.
I thought then and now my life was in danger.
That's Joy Hebron, and she's now suing San Antonio police.
So she tells KSAT investigators Daniela Ibarra that she believes officers racially profiled her and unnecessarily held her at gunpoint.
Wearing the Air Force uniform is an honor. Joy Hebron knows the weight and responsibility that comes with representing the red, white, and blue.
In the military, we hold ourselves accountable, and we're held accountable.
She spent more than a year in Military City, USA, working as a military training instructor at Lackland Air Force Base.
I was selected to be that job.
On an early morning in July of 2024, Hebron says she hopped in her truck and left her home on the northwest side. She says she had her Air Force physical training uniform on.
I was spotted leaving the area, and I was followed by a SAPD officer for what to me felt like a lifetime.
Within 10 minutes, records show officers pulled Hebron over near 410 and Babcock.
There were 3 police car lights that came on behind me, and of course, I'm shook.
Officers even noted Hebron drove at normal speeds and followed traffic.
Do you have any clue as to why you were pulled over?
Dale, not one, not a clue.
Records show 3 San Antonio police officers ordered Hebron to get out of her truck at gunpoint. They handcuffed her and questioned her about who owned the truck and what was in it. We wanted to show you footage of that moment. We've requested it from the city of San Antonio. They've since asked the Attorney General's office to withhold that footage because Hebron is now suing.
This is not an enemy. I'm not an enemy. I'm not a terrorist. I'm on U.S. soil. I had on my Air Force PT gear, which had an Air Force emblem on the back of my shirt. Never were the guns lowered. I've always thought we were on the same team.
An incident report shows Officer Robert Garcia ran Hebron's license plate near La Cantera, which came back as stolen. Garcia wrote that he pulled her over when other officers could come help. After she was handcuffed, Garcia says he realized he incorrectly entered her license plate. He released Hebron, telling her that he made a mistake.
This woman could have been killed if she had done anything other than what they asked her to do. And it would have been, the police would have said, well, we thought she was in a stolen vehicle.
Hebron's attorney, Marquise Kirkwood, says this should not have happened.
Miss Hebron was stopped because she was a black woman in a predominantly white neighborhood in a nice-looking truck, and she was stopped for no reason.
San Antonio police refused to make anyone available for an interview. A spokesperson says the stop was human error and had nothing to do with racial profiling or discrimination. Hebron is still in the Air Force, but now stationed in another state. She says the trauma led her to give up her position at Lackland.
On 8 deployments, I've never was diagnosed with PTSD, not on one deployment, but after this traumatic incident, my life will never, ever be the same. This is something I have to carry on forever.
Danielle Ibarra, KSAN Investigates.
Hebron now seeking damages from the city of San Antonio, which includes lost income and attorney fees. Earlier this week, the city filed a motion to dismiss that lawsuit. Records show that a judge, though, has yet to rule on it.
Well, I say get out of Texas. Oh, by the way, hey, Charles, in answer to your question, I have no idea how long it would have took that guy to get to wherever he got to get that excavator or get to the house to tear it up. That information was not available. So now on to this particular lady. We all know why they pulled her over, okay? We know they out there racially profiling all of us, not just the immigrants, okay? Not just the immigrants, all of us. I've been racial profiled before. Don't know if you have, but I have, and run through the grease, so to speak. So, my thing is, and I'm in a Republican state. That's something gonna happen in Republican states. That's gonna happen in Republican states. And unfortunately, in this particular state that we are in, this state is one of the states that the orange wizard in the White House is trying to get the Republicans in this state to redistrict this state. She's going to get paid, but it's going to take a while. Yeah, she's probably going to get paid, and yes, it's going to be a minute before she gets paid. You know, first of all, you got 3 cops with their gun on you. Y'all know how fast cops start shooting now. Cops start shooting first and then say, stop or I'll shoot. You know, they get out the car shooting, blam, 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 blam. Then it's stop or I'll shoot. You know. Imagine how scared this woman must have been with all them guns on. 3 guns? 3 guns? And ain't nobody there but this woman. You know, if the car was stolen, when you pulled her over and she pulled over quietly and got out the vehicle, don't that tell you you don't need 3 guns? Come on. You done traumatized the hell out the poor lady. Come on, man. That's bad. That is just plain bad. But, that's where we are today. That's where we are today. And that happens a lot in Republican states. And like I said, this guy's trying to get this state redistricted. And thank goodness, there's 2 holdouts. There's 2 Republicans downstate that are holdouts right now, standing in the way of this state being redistricted. Right now, I'm glad, but they under pressure. They got the full court press on these 2 people. But they understand how wrong this is. Imagine what would happen if this state only has nothing but Republican districts. No Democratic districts at all. This state has 9 districts. 7 are already Republican districts. And Donald Trump is after the governor of this state to redistrict it to where there's no Democratic districts at all. They want to take all 9 of them. Now the governor has folded, and the deputy governor, both of them, they folded. They've thrown in and said, yeah, we'll do it. Fortunately, there's 2 Senate members that are holding out. Imagine what would be going on in a state that has all Republican districts. Just imagine. Imagine what would be going through the state and Senate, the state house and the Senate, the state Senate. Imagine what bills and laws would be coming out with nothing but Republican fingerprints on it. Now, I've never really thought about moving because of the affordability issue. It's affordable to live here as opposed to some other places. But now I have to actually think about moving, because why live in a state that you have no representation in? Why do that? Why live there? Because you got nobody fighting for you. Anything they decide to run through their, house is just going to fly. Anything that runs through the house out in D.C. is just going to fly. That's what they're trying to get to. So there'll just be more racial profiling. You know it. Imagine the racial profiling that would be done in a pure Republican state. That's not a stretch, to imagine. So, we in a funky situation right now. We in a real funky situation. And I hope she doesn't have to wait that long to get paid. I hope she... Now, the way the city is acting, San Antonio, the way they're acting is they intend to fight this. That would be a shame if they intend to drag it out that far. That would be a shame. But can't put it past them. Can't put it past them. One other thing before I get out of here. There's one more story I want to go into. No taxation without representation. Well, brother, if they redistrict this state, there will definitely be taxation with no representation. That will be the definition of where we live, okay? That would literally be the definition. No tax, it'll be taxation with no representation. And I don't think I feel like going through that. I don't think I want to live like that. So moving is something to consider. And that, you know what? I really hate. Yeah, man, there's no reason to live here if you got no representation. Well, I live in a place where no matter where in the state you move to. See, I could see living in a state and moving to an area where you get representation. But I don't see why live in a state where no matter where you live in the state, you don't get any representation. Makes no sense to me. So I'm seriously considering it. I'm gonna have to, make some moves to look around, because they seem to be hell bent on doing this. Trump is really putting the pressure on these two people down in the Senate to do this. He's putting real big pressure on them to do it. So we'll see. I mean, and it's. I hope before they give in, enough people start breaking with this guy. This Epstein thing, right now, the MAGA sphere is in shambles. Okay, right now, the MAGA supporters, Trump supporters, are split. They're splitting down the middle, because there's one group that loves his dirty draws no matter what he does, no matter what he says. There is another group, though, that supported him based on him doing certain things. One was not get into any wars. Well, right now he's trying to start a war in Venezuela. The other one is the Epstein files. He promised them he was going to release the Epstein files. That he's not been willing to do. Number 3, that is really big, is they're tired of sending so much money to Israel. And this guy loves Netanyahu's baby bottom, okay? He loves Netanyahu's bottom. And MAGA hates that he's so in the bed with Netanyahu and sending so much money to Israel. That part of his supporters hate that. And those people are online tearing this administration to hell. Hopefully enough will split before all of this redistricting goes on. I hope. There's always hope. So, we'll see. We shall see. If you black and in Texas or Tennessee or Mississippi, get the fuck out. That's all I can say. I know it's, I was told, well, there's enough of us down in those places that ain't nothing going on. There's enough of us getting our heads busted in places like that for us to get out of there. Now, in Mississippi, they finally started. They have finally, I don't know why this took so long. in Mississippi and Louisiana, they have finally started voting. And a lot of those spots down there are predominantly black. And they have managed to scare off the black people from voting. Why is white people running the show in predominantly black areas? I will never understand in 2025. I'll never understand it. They've finally started voting. So let's see how that goes. Just last week in those votes, not last week, week before last, in the voting that they did, one of the rays of sunshine was Mississippi. Some Mississippi state house seats flipped, which broke what's called a supermajority in those houses, which now there's some representation, and they can no longer just ramrod Republican shit through the houses in Mississippi, the state houses in Mississippi. They finally, I don't know, I guess somebody finally said, hey, you can go vote, You can run a face that looks like yours, and you can go down and vote for that face that you ran that looks like yours. So there may be some hope for Mississippi. And, for those of y'all that like Mississippi, again, if that's what you like. But Mississippi just conjures up ill will for me, And while I should say that about Alabama too, I like Alabama. It is Mississippi light, Alabama is Mississippi too, So, I got to go in on Alabama too. I just know which areas of Alabama to stay in and which areas to stay out of, Thank goodness I've been there enough to know. But all of them southern states, it is what it is. One more quick story that I thought was interesting. I'm going to get off of these Republicans right quick. One more interesting one before I go. Talk about low down and dirty. After everything is said and done, and everybody treats us like crap, here comes another clown to treat his people like crap. Check it out.
The owner of a local moving company arrested outside a St. Louis courtroom today. He is facing mounting legal troubles after we shared the story of his company not completing a moving job, then selling customers' property online. New at 10, First Alert 4's Jordan Burrell introduces us to another woman who says the moving company took her for a ride. Jordan?
Corey, the owner of Super Cheap Movers, was arrested today in court for an outstanding warrant for stealing and fraud charges. Tonight, 2 more women are sharing their stories, including one who faced a suspect in court today.
Treffin Duncan.
On Tuesday night, we told you about this man, the owner of Super Cheap Movers LLC, Treffin Duncan, also known by the alias Markel Robinson. He was taken into custody Wednesday morning by the St. Louis City Sheriff's Office, who says it was due to active warrants. This video shows when he was arrested at the courthouse while being sued for a different case involving one of his customers, Stephanie Mickles.
They demanded payment before they would start unloading at the first location. Reasonable, but the issue was I was originally quoted a price of $584. As we are pulling up to my house, the first drop-off location, I get a texted invoice for $980-something.
Mickles says she hired Super Cheap Movers on October 3rd. She needed help moving all of the items from her boutique to another location. She agreed to pay $584 total, but as the job continued, her balance nearly doubled. Desperate to get her belongings, she agreed to paying the $823.
I called the police, and all of a sudden he and his helper have to go use the bathroom.
Mickles says when she tried to pay the balance via the Venmo she sent the deposit, it flagged the charge as a possible scam. Duncan then asked her to send the $800 to a Cash App named Shoe Fetish by Gigi, something she didn't feel comfortable with as the names didn't match. Once the crew knew 911 was called, they went to the bathroom to never be seen again. Duncan told her to work with front office staff on paying the balance.
Hey, Markel, it's the same guy that was driving the truck the whole time, acting like he was at an office somewhere.
Mickles says her boutique merchandise was worth more than the 10 grand she's suing for. Her messages with Duncan show him mocking her attempts to pay and get the items back. She wrote a contract agreeing to pay $1,600. Duncan replied, "LOL, that won't hold in court."
She found the company through a Google search that showed that they were highly recommended.
Teresa Fuller says weeks later, her 70-year-old mother fell victim to Super Cheap Movers, hiring the same company to move her 2-bedroom apartment to Maryland Heights.
They chose the most valuable items they found in a home and made sure they put it on a truck.
Fuller says her mother was originally quoted $135 an hour for 2 hours. But in the middle of the job, she received this receipt saying the move would take 5 hours, and she now owed the company a remaining balance of $791.
Then he demanded $867 after he locked the truck. So after in distress, we went ahead and sent the money over.
Duncan then arrived to her new home, demanding even more money. When they refused, the crew attempted to drive off with her belongings. Teresa blocking the truck with her own car and calling police. Body camera footage from Maryland Heights Police reportedly shows the interaction with Duncan, but court records show they did not address his active warrant issued 2 weeks earlier. Police did confirm they had an encounter with Duncan, but say because he called the police, officers did not run his identification.
And he has been going along with this deceptive practice of scheming individuals out of their money.
Now that Duncan is in custody, both women say they're hopeful for accountability. He is set for a bench trial in the new year.
Yeah, so it's been a nightmare.
2 of the women say they filed complaints with the Attorney General's office. We reached out to the AG's office to see if there was an active investigation into the company. We haven't heard back tonight. Corey?
A story with a lot of layers. Manolo, you keep following it. Jordan, thank you.
Now, after everything else that's going on, here comes a guy that wants to treat you like that. And Charles, I'm with you. I hope he gets what's coming to him. But first of all, I have issue with people and their choices when hiring people. Don't hire any company called Super Cheap. Okay? Understand something. Yeah, damn shame. Absolutely a damn shame. But understand something. Anybody who does not have the fortitude to even take the time to come up with a name for a company that's better than Super Cheap. Super Cheap is giving scam, okay? Let's get that off the bat. Super Cheap is giving scam. Don't hire any company called Super Cheap. Super Cheap anything. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's movers, washers, painters. Super Cheap means scam. All right? Just get that out there first. But James, like you say, our people. After all the screwing that you get from the government and life itself, here come one of us. Now, if that woman would have rolled up there, you see how that truck was wide open in the back? Now, if that woman would have rolled up there and threw a hand grenade in the back of that truck and blew his ass out the front of that truck, but then the cops want to take her to jail, right? Cops want to take her to jail. Why take me to jail? I ain't the scammer. I just stopped the scam. Be careful out there, folks, when you're hiring people to do work. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Because there's a scam artist around every freaking corner. Scam artists waiting to take you for a ride. Okay? Just wanted to get that out there for the folks. Hey, I want to be there for the people, okay? I want to be there for the people. Got anything you want to send me? Send it to that email right there. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this evening. I tell you what, I want y'all to enjoy the rest of this evening too. Matter of fact, enjoy the rest of your week. And be safe and be comfortable. If you are in one of those places that's got really good weather, I hope you continue to have good weather. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say nothing bad. I ain't gonna do it. Anyway, yeah. What this guy says. Stay prayed up, like James say. If that's your thing, do that. Personally, I'm going to keep my head on a swivel. Okay? And keep my insurance close by. Anyway, y'all have a good evening. I'm going to get out of here and do it. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I'm out. Take it easy.